Hello, folks. Welcome back to another Poem Master video. That was not my intro. Give me a break, folks. It's been like a few days before I've, since I've been doing videos. I need a bit of time to get back into the groove and stuff. That was definitely not my intro. But yeah. Anyways, today, we are going to talk about some stuff, and that stuff being the character that's coming on the 20th, which is N, and what sync pair it's probably going to have. So, if we remember, right, back a while ago, back in end of November, they tweeted out some stuff about a highly anticipated sync pair will be making their debut soon. Information will be revealed on the 20th, right? So does that mean it's coming on the 20th? No, but it means it could come on 20th, could not, right? But it means they're going to officially reveal it on the 20th, which means we might get it like a few days earlier than that. The actual info, or maybe a few hours, who knows. So on the 20th, we're getting information on the new sync pair, and that new sync pair is very likely going to be N, because in their, this picture that they tease, you got, Red, Ethan, Steven, one character from each gen. Cynthia, no one from Gen 5, Gen 6 Serena, Gen 7 Ho, Gen 8 Gloria, and then there's an empty chair in a throne room over here with no one on it, which is N. That's N's throne room. That's going to be N. So, N is coming to the game. Is it 100% going to be the character that they're going to announce on the 20th? It's not 100%, but very likely, since I think they were in like the same, comment thread, right? Or Twitter thread. So, very likely N's gonna come on the 20th, and let's talk about that, right? So, N, also known as Natural Harmonia Gropius. Oh, that's such a terrible name. Jesus Christ. Poor kid. Yeah. N, so, and if you guys played the games, N isn't really, he's a very unconventional Pokemon trainer, right? He's not, like a lot of trainers, they kind of plan around what kind of team they want and all that stuff. He just, just catches random Pokemon around, whatever area he's at, and then releases them afterwards, right? Allegedly. So, yeah, he has a lot of different type of Pokemon that he's battled with before, right? In the games. And he doesn't really have much of an attachment to any of these, right? Again, and as a character, he's he releases these Pokemon after he catches them, for the most part. He is a Pokemon rights activist, basically, sorta, in a way, and it was one of the reasons why he doesn't really keep the Pokemon. He doesn't really, like humans using Pokemon as tools, all that stuff. You guys know this whole spiel. I'm not going to tell you who N is. You guys probably already know. So, that again kind of sort of makes his, sync pair, what Pokemon he's going to pick, a bit hard, but also a bit easier, because, very likely it's not going to be any of these. Very likely it's not going to be any of these Pokemon that he's had and, like, sort of just released, right? For N, I think it's pretty easy to narrow it down to a few Pokemon that he's had and kind of sort of go from there, right? And the three Pokemon that is most tightly associated with N is actually just Reshiram, Zekrom, and Zora/Zoroark, right? So, pretty sure it's going to be one of those three. I highly doubt it's going to be a Woobat, right? I highly doubt it's going to be a Woobat. Very likely it's going to be either Reshiram or Zekrom or Zora/Zoroark, right? Zoroark, because it's kind of sort of his Pokemon. I mean, he was guarding his place down there, and then in the game, one of the NPCs could give you one of N's Zoras, all that stuff, right? It's kind of his ace before he sends out his legendary Pokemon, right? Sorta. So, yeah, that's sort of the deal with N. It's pretty much you're gonna narrow it down to either Reshiram, Zekrom, or Zora, or Zora slash Zora Oh my god, hard to pronounce. But yeah, here's the hard part. Here's the hard part. Which one is it going to be, right? Is it going to be Zekrom? Is it going to be Reshiram? Or is it going to be Zoroark, right? And honestly, the answer is it could be either one of them, right? There really isn't any conclusive evidence to say it's going to be one over the other. Because if you look at N's character, right? If you're wondering between these two dragons, which one could it be? Right? It really depends on what version, because depending on the version you play, N is his ideology is quite different, right? So he, again, depending on the version, he has because these two dragons represent truth, ideals, whatever, right? And again, depending on the version, his ideology is very, very different. If you've only played one version before, you'd think, oh, well, obviously he's gonna go with the truths, dragon or whatever. If you play the other version, you're gonna think, oh, obviously he's gonna pick the ideal dragon, right? But no, depending on the version, again, it's very different what he believes in and his core ideology. So there really isn't much of an indication of which one he prefers if you're looking, again, into his, ideological makeup, right? So is there any other clues maybe in terms of, between these two? Which one he could potentially pick up? Not really, because in like a lot of official artwork, he's been with both, right? And maybe like another clue is like in Generations, because in Pokemon Generations, N was with Reshiram, right? Although Generations, it doesn't really mean much either, right? It's not like Masters has been picking, sync pairs out, according to Generations. That hasn't been the case, right? So that's, again, it could be add some credence to it being Reshiram, but again, there's nothing too conclusive over there. In the manga, which the game is almost completely not based off of at all, he does have Zekrom, so again, slight grain of salt there, right? So it's really, really hard to say if it's going to be between these two dragons, which one it's going to be, right? So again, no solid evidence either way on that. However, if you do kind of sort of look at just in terms of the typings, just if we look at Masters in terms of what sync pairs we have, what types we have, right, and what types we need. Yesterday I did a video on, just summarizing sort of the damage dealers of each type that we have so far. Right? If you haven't checked that out, you could check that out on the channel. Also, subscribe if you want more, Pokemon Masters videos and all that stuff, right? So, looking at the typings, Zekrom is Dragon Electric, Reshiram is Dragon and Fire. If we're just looking at the type distribution, assuming it's going to be a damage dealer, it could not be, right? It could be something else. It could be a support. Who knows, right? But assuming it deals some sort of damage, it would make sense if it was Zekrom over Reshiram, because we have way too many fire and dragon types already, right? So if it were to be either Reshiram or Zekrom, I would assume that they're at least going to have like a fire or electric type move, right? Because I would assume they're gonna have either fusion bolt or fusion flare at least, right? So even if they are going to be like dragon type, their sync move is going to be dragon type, then at least they're going to have like a coverage move for either again fusion bolt or fusion flare, or they could just be pure fire or pure electric. Because again, do keep in mind, sync pairs and Pokemon Masters are single types. There's no dual types, right? There could be different dual type moves, but as a typing, they're not dual types, right? So again, it's just looking from what we kind of sort of need. We just are incredibly oversaturated with fire type damage dealers and not so much with electric. We do have a decent amount of like nice electric type damage dealers like Volkner, Elisa, trainer MC Pikachu, Lowland Raichu, right? But again, if you compare us to fire type, it's not really much of a comparison. Fire type has like so many, right? Serena, Charizard, Torkoal, Infernape, Emboar, Typhlosion. Oh my god, the list doesn't end, right? So if we're just coming, looking at it from a gameplay perspective standpoint, right? It does seem like Zekrom would be more ideal. Haha, get it? It would be more ideal. But again, that's not really extremely conclusive. So looking at Zoroark, and this is where I think it's more interesting, because Zoroark does have a very, very good argument as well, right? And I do think it's much better argument for it being either Reshiram or Zekrom, because Zoroark, because like if N is getting Reshiram or Zekrom, right? Canon wise, it would mean that either Hilda or Hilbert would have gotten the other dragon, right? Because that was kind of sort of how it worked a bit, right, in the games. And the fact of the matter is they don't. Hilda has Tepig and Hilbert has Oshawott, right? So maybe since they didn't get, any of the legendary dragons, maybe N's gonna pick up Zoroark instead to mirror that, or maybe in the future, when they get Signusuit, Singsuit Hilbert, Hilda's, they could give Singsuit Hilbert and Hilda, Zekrom and Reshiram instead, right? Again, doesn't fit the canon, but it's a multiverse, right? The people are, trainers are pulled from all different games, right? You got Cyrus, you got Cynthia from Platinum, Cyrus is from Pearl, right? Both Gen 4 characters from different games, right? So maybe it could happen something like that. And Zoroark would also be welcome, right? It'll definitely be welcome, because Zoroark, it is dark type, and we kind of sort of do need a bit more dark type, damage dealers, right? The big one in the game right now, Houndoom, which most people do have access to, and the other one is Mightyena, which not as many people have access to because it was a limited seasonal sync pair, right? So Zoroark, as a dark type, maybe Tack, I would say, if it were to come out, probably lean more towards attack instead, right? Would be a better alternative, maybe. So, I mean, overall, again, we don't really know which one it's going to be. However, if I were to rank them on preferability in terms of just gameplay wise, right, I would say Zoroark would probably be the best, because we just don't have that many dark type strikers in the game. And then it'd be Zekrom, because again, Reshiram, there's just way too many fire types, and like same with dragon types, a lot of dragon types as well. So just in terms of preferability, not saying I like Zoroark better than, I think I do like Zoroark better than those two though. But just not talking about just my personal opinion on the which one I like, just in terms of what the game would prefer to have, right? Just balance wise, it would seem that Zoroark would be the best option, followed by Zekrom, then Reshiram, right? But hey, if for some reason, if they're gonna make it into like the story of how N teamed up with Reshiram and make it compelling enough, then again, Reshiram could still be a possibility. If you're a Reshiram fan, don't lose hope out there. It could still happen. Very much still happen, right? So anyways, that's maybe this one, I guess. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know, guys, think in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel for some more Pokemon Masters content. We'll be streaming some more Ultra Luzamoon, which I haven't done in a while, later today, so tune in and check that out if you guys are so inclined. Again, streaming Ultra Moon, playing as Luzamoon with her team later today. Continuing where we stopped, which was right before we were gonna actually battle Luzamoon, I think, right? So Luzamoon versus Luzamoon, very, very climatic part of the adventure. So tune into that. That should be fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.